The main lesson that I got from this book was mostly about acceptance. I think what I got from Poppy and her journey, there's certain moments that I could relate with her, and it taught me reminded me of my own journey, and the journey that I had taken to accepting myself, accepting my situation, and the kind of things accepting what I can't change, so certain things about myself that I can't change. So that was for me the main thing that stood out as I was reading along the lines, and to stay clued up about what's happening around us. To not live in a little shell, but to stay clued up. There are a lot of things that as you're reading, you're like, yeah. So acceptance, remaining clued up. A rating out of 5, I'd give it a 4. I think I'd give it a 4. I would recommend it actually.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend it.
And why didn't you give it a 5? What was that one point?
If there were some scenes, because it's very explicit in the way that he describes certain situations. So he really takes you and he puts you on the journey. So you literally visualize everything.
Yeah.
So even those scenes between two people, he puts you in there.
You can say it.
He literally puts you in there. So for someone you're just like, but it's certain uncomfortable, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So so those
The biggest lesson, I think for me, the book just talks about how, it showed me how the definition of beauty is so distorted and how it just changes from generation to generation, and how, if you allow society to shape you and to define who you are, or to teach you how to love yourself, and the fact that the opinion of society constantly changes, then that means you'll never get to a point where you truly know who you are. So I feel like you need to define yourself for yourself. You need to know that you are beautiful regardless of how they see you, because there's no place where you'll actually always fit in. You'll always be an outsider somewhere. So it's like you said, it's about acceptance. So for me, it's about shaping your own reality, defining what beauty is to you, and not allowing society to shape you, because Upopi was segregated ngapha nangapha. So she had to find beauty within herself. So for me, I think that was a lesson learned.
And the rating?
I would rate it. Do we have halves?
Yes, we do.
We have halves.
We do. We have half, quarter, everything.
I would say a 3.5. Look, it's a brilliant book. It's a great book. It's well written. Even how Zakes just starts every chapter. It's beautifully written. Yeah. The only thing about Zakes, especially from Black Diamond.
Hey.
Oh, that's sex. So there's a lot of sexual scenes.
Have you read Black Diamond?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you now why I won't.
Okay.
There's a lot of sexual scenes, and I just feel like I haven't read all his books, but I'm starting to see this as a common trait. So if this is him, then I think somewhere he must not be predictable in his writing.
Okay.
But he's a fantastic
writer.
Yeah, author. Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. We'll give Kaya the final
word.
closing words. Okay. I think for me, first and foremost, I think this book made me really. It opened up a high level of curiosity. First and foremost, because it makes me want to delve more into reading on the topic of the Immorality Act. It wants me to read more about apartheid. It wants me to read more about the history. It wants me to read more about... There's a part where Zeksunda is talking about how the Afrikaans... Let me see if I can actually find that page. Hold on. I know I highlighted it. Yeah, so page 148, it says... He explained to the ignorant young man that President F.W. de Klerk was thinking only of the future of the Afrikaner people when he released the likes of Mandela from jail. It was part of de Klerk's wisdom. He would never just hand over power to the blacks without making sure that the Afrikaner had a meaningful state. And it makes me want to read more, actually, because I haven't read Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking away from his character and what he did for the country, but it really wants you to find some certain information that are kind of hidden, you know. And in the last couple of years, you find people coming out and saying, no, Nelson Mandela is a sellout, and you listen to those statements and you're like, what? How could someone possibly say something like that? And for me, it raises a high level of curiosity to really open up the pages that have been written by people that know a little bit more about certain information. Maybe even Kaya can, share his thoughts about that. But honestly, it makes me want to learn more, to delve deeper, But I've taken a lot from this book. Zeksimda writes beautiful. I mean, he really paints a vivid image about what had taken place, and I actually watched a couple of his videos on YouTube where he talks about the story is actually, it really happened in Excelsior in the Free State, and for him to really take the time to investigate more about what had happened. I think if he had not written the book, I wouldn't have known about this. I wouldn't. Yeah. I probably would have known only about Soweto, the uprising, and other incidents that have happened around apartheid. But the small, particular, heavy topic, I wouldn't naturally would have known about it. And for me, it really opened up my eyes to the bigger issue, And so, yeah, I took a lot. Out of 5, I would give it a 4. I would also give it a 4. And I think the one point is because there are instances where he took forever. Like he dragged
to get to the point.
And there were parts where I was like, Auntie, when is he is Poppy really going to find out Chart is actually his half brother? I was like, when is that coming? And I'm reading and it's taking forever. But I think that's the only point I'm actually withdrawing from the 5.
So you're okay with the 6 scenes?
No, because Zeksimda made it. He kind of made it easy for me to read such a topic. I expected it. I was like, another 6 scene. Okay, next. But it was not as intense as Black Diamond. Black Diamond was deeper, hey? Black Diamond was deeper. Yeah. You felt uncomfortable. You're like, do I have to know about this? but yeah, no, it was a good book. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Hey.